The Motivator Show. The internet's most inspirational podcast. Every Saturday morning from 8 to 10. Ethiopia, the origin of the coffee beans. The types of beans include Arabica beans, Robusta beans, Labrica beans, Excelsior beans, and the main routes to the rest of the world were via Kenya and Yemen. Jamaica's Blue Mountain Coffee. Jamaica's Blue Mountain Coffee is an Arabica variety of coffee bean called Typica that originated in southwestern Ethiopia. Blue Mountain Coffee is noted for its mild flavor and lack of bitterness. Ethiopian coffee beans are now grown worldwide. The countries include Brazil, Colombia, Guatemala, Honduras, Peru, Uganda, Indonesia, Mexico, India, Nigeria, Jamaica, and many more. The Ethiopian Arabica beans. The Arabica coffee plant is a small tree that is between 2 to 8 meters tall and has evergreen, usually shiny leaves. The flowers are white and sweetly scented, and the fruits are red, but sometimes yellow or purple. Each fruit produces 2 green seeds, which are commonly known as coffee beans. The Ethiopian Robusta beans. Robusta gets its name from its hardy nature. It is able to grow in lower altitude and diverse climates around the world, making it a more resilient and robust species of coffee. Robusta coffee plants are also relatively resistant to pests, insects, and harsh weather conditions. Ethiopian Labrica beans. Out of all the types of coffee plants, Labrica produces the biggest beans. The flavor profile is unique and is described as smoky, nutty, floral with a hint of dark chocolates, ripe berry and spice. It is flavored for its smooth aftertaste and lingering taste of rich, dark chocolates. The Ethiopian Excelsior beans. Excelsior has a distinctive tart, fruity, dark, mysterious taste. In blend, it enhances the middle and back palate and lingering finish of the coffee, giving the cup more substance and power. Brewed on its own, it is a compelling and unique coffee experience, like a good Scotch whiskey. Black Cowboy Coffee on The Motivator Show. The African origin of coffee. Britain's first specialist African and Caribbean coffee bean Elephant Arcade, Unit 11A, 50 London Road, London, SE1 6FY. Black Cowboy Coffee, Britain's first specialist African and Caribbean coffee bean and beverage cafe. Telephone number 07 496 304 484. Black Cowboy Coffee is an enterprise that takes pride in providing organic, fair trade coffee beans. We believe that sourcing the best coffee beans and providing the best service is a winning combination. The Motivator Show. Success is ours for the taking. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's free. Press the like button and don't forget to leave a comment. Follow us on Facebook. Give us the thumbs up and share with your family and friends. We are also on Instagram and TikTok. Follow us there too. You can listen to us on galaxy.net and also Mixcloud too. The Motivator Show. The internet's most inspirational podcast. Every Saturday morning from 8 to 10. Ethiopia, the origin of the coffee beans. The types of beans include Arabica beans, Robusta beans, Labrica beans, Excelsior beans, and the main routes to the rest of the world were via Kenya and Yemen. Jamaica's Blue Mountain Coffee. Jamaica's Blue Mountain Coffee is an Arabica variety of coffee bean called Typica that originated in southwestern Ethiopia. Blue Mountain Coffee is noted for its mild flavor and lack of bitterness. Ethiopian coffee beans are now grown worldwide. The countries include Brazil, Colombia, Guatemala, Honduras, Peru, Uganda, Indonesia, Mexico, India, Nigeria, Jamaica, and many more. Ethiopian Arabica beans. The Arabica coffee plant is a small tree that is between 2 to 8 meters tall and has evergreen, usually shiny leaves. The flowers are white and sweetly scented, and the fruits are red, but sometimes yellow or purple. Each fruit produces 2 green seeds, which are commonly known as coffee beans. The Ethiopian Robusta beans. Robusta gets its name from its hardy nature. It is able to grow in lower altitude and diverse climates around the world, making it a more resilient and robust species of coffee. Robusta coffee plants are also relatively resistant to pests, insects, and harsh weather conditions. Ethiopian Liberica beans. Out of all the types of coffee plants, Liberica produces the biggest beans. The flavor profile is unique and is described as smoky, nutty, floral with a hint of dark chocolates, ripe berry and spice. It is flavored for its smooth aftertaste and lingering taste of rich, dark chocolates. The Ethiopian Excelsior beans. Excelsior has a distinctive tart, fruity, dark, mysterious taste. In blend, it enhances the middle and back palate and lingering finish of the coffee, giving the cup more substance and power. Brewed on its own, it is a compelling and unique coffee experience, like a good Scotch whisky. Black Cowboy Coffee on the Motivator show. The African origin of coffee. African and Caribbean coffee, beans and beverage cafe. Based in Elephant Arcade, Unit 11A, 50 London Road, London, SE1 6FY. Black Cowboy Coffee, Britain's first specialist African and Caribbean coffee, bean and beverage cafe. Telephone number 07 496 304 484. Black Cowboy Coffee is an enterprise that takes pride in providing organic, fair trade coffee beans. We believe that sourcing the best coffee beans and providing the best service is a winning combination. The Motivator show. Success is ours for the taking. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's free. Press the like button and don't forget to leave a comment. Follow us on Facebook. Give us the thumbs up and share with your family and friends. We are also on Instagram and TikTok. Follow us there too. You can listen to us on galaxy.net and also Mixcloud too. The Motivator Show. The internet's most inspirational podcast. Every Saturday morning from 8 to 10. Ethiopia, the origin of the coffee beans. The types of beans include Arabica beans, Robusta beans, Labrica beans, Excelsior beans, and the main routes to the rest of the world were via Kenya and Yemen. Jamaica's Blue Mountain Coffee. Jamaica's Blue Mountain Coffee is an Arabica variety of coffee bean called Typica that originated in southwestern Ethiopia. Blue Mountain Coffee is noted for its mild flavor and lack of bitterness. Ethiopian coffee beans are now grown worldwide. The countries include Brazil, Colombia, Guatemala, Honduras, Peru, Uganda, Indonesia, Mexico, India, Nigeria, Jamaica, and many more. The Ethiopian Arabica beans. The Arabica coffee plant is a small tree that is between 2 to 8 meters tall and has evergreen, usually shiny leaves. The flowers are white and sweetly scented, and the fruits are red, but sometimes yellow or purple. Each fruit produces 2 green seeds, which are commonly known as coffee beans. The Ethiopian Robusta beans. Robusta gets its name from its hardy nature. It is able to grow in lower altitude and diverse climates around the world, making it a more resilient and robust species of coffee. Robusta coffee plants are also relatively resistant to pests, insects, and harsh weather conditions. Ethiopian Labrica beans. Out of all the types of coffee plants, Labrica produces the biggest beans. The flavor profile is unique and is described as smoky, nutty, floral with a hint of dark chocolates, ripe berry and spice. It is flavored for its smooth aftertaste and lingering taste of rich, dark chocolates. The Ethiopian Excelsior beans. Excelsior has a distinctive tart, fruity, dark, mysterious taste. In blend, it enhances the middle and back palate and lingering finish of the coffee, giving the cup more substance and power. Brewed on its own, it is a compelling and unique coffee experience. like a good Scotch whisky. Black Cowboy Coffee on The Motivator Show. The African origin of coffee. Black Cowboy Coffee, Britain's first specialist African and Caribbean coffee, beans and beverage cafe. Based in Elephant Arcade, Unit 11A, 50 London Road, London, SE1 6FY. Black Cowboy Coffee, Britain's first specialist African and Caribbean coffee, beans and beverage cafe. Telephone number 07 496 304 484. Black Cowboy Coffee is an enterprise that takes pride in providing organic, fair trade coffee beans. We believe that sourcing the best coffee beans and providing the best service is a winning combination. The Motivator Show. Success is ours for the taking. And I think at that time, success is indeed ours for the taking. It's the Motivator here. This is where we translate our words into action, and where success is ours for the taking. How are you feeling, people? How are you feeling? Well, I'm feeling great. In fact, I'm feeling fantastic. I hope you're feeling well too. I hope you're feeling well too. Now then, this interesting strong will be one in which you'll find powerful messages are transmitted to you. Messages that will bring light to facts which often are not obvious, I just remind us, again, Africa's manuscripts, icons, its art history, its achievements, 96% of all those records are kept in public and private museums outside the continent. Oh my gosh, there's so much knowledge about ourselves we have yet to fully understand. But yes, the coffee beans come from Africa. But more of that later on. What I want to do, first of all, is congratulate past contributors to the Motivator Show, okay? How are you all feeling, people? How are you all feeling? I'm going to turn up my mic a little more. There you go. A little more. There you go. Yeah. How are you feeling? Because today's show will be one that truly empowers you, makes you feel even more invigorated, stronger, able-bodied, and you will go forward without hesitation. So without further ado, what I want to do is give a thumbs up to prior contributors to the show, okay? And wasn't it a fantastic show last strong, yeah? We've got to congratulate those members of the Global African Congress, okay, and those who are responsible for the African International Virtual Town Hall Meeting Gatherings, or the Sunday Solidarity International, if you like, yeah? Wonderful, wonderful people, An example, what is possible using the latest technology to communicate with peoples around the world. Remember, a family that stays together grows together. I say again, a family that stays together grows together. It's important for people, particularly of African heritage, to come together and debate and find ways, mean by which you're able to find consensus, a basis upon which to move forward to peace and prosperity for all. That has got to be our goal, our primary goal. Coming together, finding consensus, giving and taking, but finding consensus so we can achieve peace and prosperity for all. Is that not simply common sense? Huh? Is that not simply common sense? So well done. Well done to you all. Well done to you all. I want to give another big shout out, of course, to those of you who have had the honor of listening and viewing that wonderful episode of the Motivator show, where, of course, we were able to see the true images of the biblical figures in the Bible. But which Bible, you ask yourself? Oh, yeah. I've got to assert again that the only true Bible is, of course, the Ethiopian Orthodox Tahido Bible, one that is more than 1,500 years old, yeah, which contains the stories of actual figures, not those that have been customized and for political purposes to control the mind of others. So I say to you all, particularly if you're of African heritage, but most certainly those who are enlightened, look at, review the Ethiopian Orthodox Bible. There is no doubt in my mind that this contains the original accounts, untainted accounts of the biblical events, the biblical figures. And long may you be enlightened. Okay. But now, without further ado, I want to get into the next section of the show, which, of course, are those most important, highly critical, but important lifestyle messages. Why are they important? Because they have served to change people's habits. They have served, without a shadow of a doubt, to save lives. Because it's self-evident that our lifestyle has a significant contribution to determining how long we live and the quality of our lives. And I see too often, far too often, members of the communities, yeah, who are living lifestyles against their bodies and minds' best interest, undermining your health, undermining your immune system, and thereby succumbing to all the viruses, the germs, the ailments that pervade our background environment. But we can defend ourselves, but we have to take care of ourselves. It requires deliberate action. I say again, it requires deliberate action. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into this wonderful section of the show, which is, of course, the lifestyle messages. And please pay attention and remember to share these messages with your friends, your families, your wider networks, okay? Your friends, your families, and your wider networks. Let's go straight into it. I ask you to consider the amount of sugar and salt that you ingest each day. Yeah. Again, I say again, I ask you to consider the amount of sugar and salt that you ingest each day. Sugar, of course, is one of those ingredients that's in our background environment that we give particularly to children in the form of sweets. And we as adults assume it's required for those beverages like the teas and the coffees, yeah, which we'll come to later on, yeah, and those sweet drinks, particularly in those tins and bottles, yeah. But actually, while sugar is a necessity for our bodies, the overconsumption of sugar can have a long-term detrimental impact upon our general health and well-being. So tell me now, if you overconsume on sugar, what is the likely impact? The primary link between sugar and our health is diabetes. Here in Britain, the National Health Service spends more than £24 billion in treating people with diabetes in the African communities, yeah, and those mixed race communities and Asian communities. There are some instances where in families there's running at between 35 to 40% of members of those families with diabetes. Direct causal link between the consumption of diabetes, so consumption of sugar and diabetes. I ask you to consider the amount of sugar that you consume each day. I also ask you to consider the amount of salt that you consume each day. Again, we add salt to our cuisine as a flavor enhancer, but in actual fact, it doesn't make any contribution whatsoever. It is purely a mirage. It is a mirage. But again, there's a direct causal link between salt and, of course, our general health, particularly in relation to hypertension or high blood pressure. The overconsumption of salt can have a direct causal link between your general health and, of course, hypertension. In other words, yes, it has a damaging impact on your body if you overconsume. I simply ask you to consider the amount of sugar and salt you consume each day. I no longer buy sugar from the grocery stores or salt from the grocery stores. There is no need for it. There is no need. There's ample salt and sugar in our background food consumption. That much I can assure you. But if in doubt, please speak to a specialist who's best able to respond to your direct questions that's personalized for you and for yourselves. So tell me, if that is true, I now ask you also to consider how much carbohydrate you consume each day. Tell me, the amount of carbohydrate may not seem threatening or may not seem intimidating until you understand its impact. Carbohydrate, particularly in the form of pastas or indeed bread or indeed the root vegetables such as potatoes and the yams. It's not the consumption the problem, it's the overconsumption. Okay? The experts tell us that we should consume no more than a fistful of food per sitting. The problem is far too many of us eat far much more than that. And the long-term impact becomes apparent, and that will become apparent to you as this presentation goes on. But I ask you to really consider the amount of carbohydrates that you consume each day. Carbohydrates appear to be innocuous, harmless, until you overconsume. Until you overconsume. The next ingredient I ask you to consider is one that many of you will recognize, and it is quite, curious. I ask you now also to consider the amount of fat that you consume each day. Fat is another one of those ingredients that you find is somewhat hidden in our foods. Here on the screen, you'll see what is effectively raw meat. You can see the meat, but you can see the white streaks within the meat. And it is that aspect of the meat that I ask you to consider. We need to ensure we reduce the amount of fat that we consume each day. There you go, you see it. And that fat can have long-term harmful effects on your bodies. And you'll see many members of our communities with bloated bodies, which I'll come on to in a moment. But the heightened levels of cholesterol in your blood, which is in fact fat, is the biggest problem in our communities, because it leads to long-term harmful conditions. So I ask you to consider the amount of fat that you consume each day. It can have long-term harmful impacts on your general health and well-being. Here is a direct impact of the overconsumption of sugar, salts, carbohydrates, and fat. We get on to starch in a moment. You can see the inside of our bodies. And here's one of our arteries. And this artery, of course, is partially blocked. It is blocked with what we've eaten. And of course, our heart is forced to push the blood past this blockage with a greater vigor, thereby raising our blood pressures, with all the impact that that will have on our general health and well-being. This is what's happening in many of our bodies. It could very well be possibly happening in mine, hopefully to a lesser extent, he says, hopefully to a lesser extent. But the effect is real. The effect is real. And the last ingredient I want to give light to is, of course, starch. Starch very much is pervasive in our diet, particularly if you consume large amount of rice. And of course, you cook these pretty foods, particularly for children, these fairy cakes and so on. Starch, of course, our bodies believe as you overconsume in eating of rice, and which contains starch, or some root vegetables which contain large amount of starch, our bodies simply assume that you're eating for a rainy day, and therefore it stores the starch in our bodies. And the direct causal link will become apparent to you in the next part of this presentation. And watch on the screen. There on the screen, you see the direct impact of the overconsumption of sugar, salt, fats, carbohydrates, and starch. You see it. You see the ladies and gentlemen with the bloated shoulders, the bloated chest, the bloated abdomens, the bloated thighs, and the bloated buttocks or bottoms in polite company. Yes, this is the direct causal link between what we eat and the impact of our overconsumption on our bodies. You can see it on screen, and it is and can be quite devastating. You could see the gentleman with his bloated abdomen there, the lady with the bloated abdomen and the bloated thighs. I ask you to consider it has a direct causal link between what you see on screen and what you eat. The experts recommend that we eat far more fruits and vegetables, untainted fruits and vegetables. You can see on the screen the avocados, the beetroot, the tomatoes, the lettuce, the lemons, the cauliflower. Yeah, you see the melons, you see Noriegas, you see the pumpkin seeds, you see the cherries, yeah, you see the grapes, the oranges, yeah, you see the candy, yeah, you see the cucumber, yeah. This is what our bodies most crave for. This is the food of life. This is what would enable you to live a long, healthy life. To eat these foods in large quantities, but, in large quantities over a day. I say large quantities, didn't I say it? Yeah. But I say this because such food, eaten correctly, would enable you to live a long, healthy lifestyle. Yep, you see the wonderful sweet corn there. Yep, you see the pumpkins. Yep, you see the beautiful celery, the tomatoes, the lettuce. Yep, you see the cabbages, the almond seeds. Yep, this is what our bodies absolutely crave for. And with this food, our body can build you, build your mind and build your bodies. This is what we most crave. And of course, as you know, we are approximately 70% water, and our bodies therefore require hydration. Whilst the foods I've just highlighted are a good hydrator, it's always good to ensure that you have between 2 to 3 litres of water per day. It does vary between your height and your mass, but between 2 to 3 litres of water per day is what is recommended. And you see the lady and gent on the screen drinking their water, because water is life. This is what we absolutely require. But most critically, what we require is, in addition to eating well, it is absolutely critical that you exercise. Exercise. If you don't do exercise but you're eating well, then you're defeating the object because your bodies crave exercise to be used. You see the lady here with her weights and she's pumping those weights. You see the mature gentleman who's running with a smile on his face. He's listening to his music. He's enjoying his run. You see the young lady running up and down those stairs. And absolutely, that's a fantastic form of exercise. You see the young man with his bulging muscle doing his press up. Absolutely critical to promoting your general health and well-being. The exercise is absolutely perfect for us. This is what you need to do in order to maintain a general health and well-being. Health is your wealth. I say again, your health is your wealth. If you're not exercising each day, then you are doing yourself a disservice. The experts also recommend that in addition to eating well, to exercising, you must take care of your mental and spiritual health. Okay? Your mental health. If in doubt, seek out a health professional or speak to whoever you most trust. I would trust that whoever you most trust will be someone who will have your interest at heart. And I hope, therefore, that such a person will ensure that you are able to seek out and obtain the mental health support that you require. But as you know, we as human beings, particularly Africans, are truly spiritual people. It is most critical. It is most critical that you take care of your spiritual health. Your spiritual health is an integral part of who you are as a human being. And I trust that you will seek out the professional of spiritual advisors that I'm sure are within your life. I recommend seeking out spiritual health for yourself. I recommend that you do so. So that is the end of the health messages. I hope they find you well. And I hope that these messages you'll take on board and share with your family and friends. I trust you'll share these messages with your family and friends. It is most critical. Not only do you hear these messages, that you act upon these messages. I spend only a few minutes each time I'm live giving out these lifestyle messages because far too many members of the communities generally are suffering unnecessary illnesses, avoidable illnesses. So I hope these messages find you well. I see someone is calling me on my other line. If they didn't do that, send a message through to me. I'd be most grateful. Now, what I now need to do is this. I want to prepare the way for what is to come. Now, you all will appreciate that one of the objectives of the Motivator shows is, of course, to communicate positive messages to the people, to ensure that those messages affect your lifestyle and affect how you are able to live a more fulfilling life, not one that is weighed down by emotional, mental, or physical burdens. That is the purpose of the Motivator shows. Okay. But I also want to point out that I know often people listen passively and don't act upon the messages. And I hear you and I understand why you do so. Okay. But it is most important that you're not simply passive listeners, that you are acting upon the information shared and you are able to feel empowered enough to act upon these messages. And if in doubt, seek out professional advice. Speak to whoever gives you the most comfort and provides you with solid advice. Okay, that's what I recommend. But As a result of these shows and these communications, I've come across African peoples in particular who've heard the messages and I recognise that it's important to pool resources so we operate in common aim and common purpose. What I want to do is commend to you a group of Africans, particularly Africans, who've come together in common aim and common purpose. Why are they important? Because what they've demonstrated is that they're able to overcome any petty religious or ethnic divide that might exist and focus on what is important. Okay. And what is clearly important is that we work together in common aim and common purpose. And failing to do so, of course, will only mean that there is hardship later on. Okay? There is hardship later on. So what I want to do now is just bring up for you an interesting group of people who I would say to you represent the future in so many ways. Okay, they represent the future. Why do they represent the future? They represent the future because very often what I hear are reasons why people can't work together. But actually, I'm far more interested in people who know they must work together in common aim and common purpose so that we all can grow. Okay, we all can grow. And in doing so, what you're able to do is to represent not only what's the best way of describing this, you're able to represent yourself, your family, and your children's therefore. And we've got to represent them in ways that allows them to see us for what we really are, a truly great people. Okay? So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to bring up a wonderful video of the Countdown organization, which for some reason I've lost, but it will come up in a few seconds. And I want to just ring this, show them to you and show you what is possible. Here we go.
Famous. Hello, 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 hello. You get one life on leave. Me self get one life on leave. Why we no go use am gladdy and enjoy the time. Palava no dey finish. Time me no dey wait nobody. Now why I dey try for always get am nice every day and night. This one way we all fend we safe, now nobody own. You want to eat what you must, we go down you belly, now you young. And the balance where you go die left, now all the money on. So why for the greedy you say for? Tell the motor car where you let buy 'em. If you see finance where you call it Bilam, oh. You meet up woman where you let Yanam. And if you let the man for keep 'em. Want them more. The food where you feel for eat some for eat 'em. That fine la power you let na for buy 'em. And tie 'em more. And if you baby love you back love 'em. But if you love them all now you na for left 'em. Want them more. Cause nobody know what's tomorrow all. So every day of my life till old, I fasting enjoyment stay go. Now for land for care for yourself. Nobody love you pass yourself. All man they fed for himself. Oh. Now why I know they allowed with you other man they can't take the peace away. Me joy away.
Exercising that.
Oh no make nobody take your peace away.
Do the exercise. Huh?
Me smile away. Oh no. Alright. Every day. I see they also work for the pay. They like na boku on a small you cage. Land for the loose body 110. No to money, no to gentle. No money make motor man and brother. As long as you get waiting, you they eat. Land for the loose body 110. This one way we all fend we safe, now nobody own. You want to eat what you must, we go down you belly, now you young. And the balance where you go die left, now all the money on. So why for the greedy you say for? let the man na for keep am. One time more, the food where you feel for eat na for eat am. Eat am, that fine the pound where you like na for buy am. Entire more, and if you baby love you back love am. Love am, but if you love them all now you na for left am. One time more, cause nobody know waiting tomorrow all. So every day of my life they are all. A fasting enjoyment stay go. Now for land for care for yourself. Nobody love you pass you yourself. All man they fed for yourself. Oh. Now why I know they allowed with the other man they can't take me peace away. Away, me joy away. Away, me smile away. Away, oh no no, no make nobody take you peace away. Away, me joy away. Away, me smile away. Away, oh no no.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Wasn't that an example of it, huh? Wasn't that an example of it? Right, I understand that Galaxy Fui may not be receiving us loud and clear. I'm going to make some adjustments. Hopefully that should make a difference. Hopefully that's better for galaxyfui.net. Hopefully that is better. I can see the dial going up now. That's good. Galaxy Fui should be receiving us loud and clear. Let me try it again. Yep, they're now receiving us loud and clear. There you go. There you go. Now then, so let's get into the meat of the Motivator show today. Okay, you recall last Strong, where I did the research and found that upon realizing that the Russians were opening up their vaults and allowing African theologians, academics, researchers, historians to go into their vaults to see what was stolen from Africa over the past centuries, okay? And one aspect of their enormous collection, which pales into significance to the British Museum and British private collections, or Belgium, or French, or Spanish, or Italian, or indeed in the so-called Vatican, yeah, pales into significance, their collection, yeah. 96% of Africa's artifacts, manuscript, our art, our iconic, our knowledge, our history, is kept outside of the continent, 96%. Yeah? But the Russians have opened up their vault and allowed us to see what's there. One of the most powerful impacts of this action is to reveal to the world, assuming the world didn't know, that the iconic figures, biblical figures, are all African peoples. And I don't say that for some ethnic big up, as it were. It's simply historic facts. And that therefore has started a series of investigations in my past, and quite by accident, or by fate, he says. The next subject I wanted to tackle is coffee. Why coffee, you ask yourself? Yep, this multi-billion pound sector, worldwide sector, multi-billion pounds, yeah? That's what it's worth, multi-billion, many, many billions, pounds or dollars, wherever you are in the world, yeah? Multi-billion pound sector, yeah, coffee. Now, when you ask yourself, where does coffee come from? I don't know, the majority of people out there will say, well, obviously from South America, obviously. Well, we would buy it from the shops, and it's always South American, Yeah, okay. Like a lot of things in this world, the truth will set you free. I'm going to say it again. Like a lot of things in this world, the truth will set you free. And it must be purely coincidental, but I know that there are many highly spiritual people who are viewing and listening to this transmission who will say there is no coincidence, or it's all meant to be. Yeah. And I started looking at this particular product for a particular reason, which I'll come into later on. It's one of those serendipitous experiences. In other words, a happy discovery. Okay. It wasn't intentional, it was just a happy discovery. Because there was a reason why I was looking at coffee. Okay. But I noted, of course, that there are many coffee cafes, retailers across Britain, but very few, if any, are led by a person of African heritage. Most curious. It was most curious. And if our community to create real wealth, we've got to be in all sectors. So for me, amongst my other hats and tasks and study routines, and those of you know that I'm up usually very late, early morning, I don't sleep much, my brain is active, I've got to study, I've got to acquire knowledge, because through the raising of your knowledge base, you broaden your ability to understand what is out there. The truth will set you free. And what was quite profound in my research is the African origin of coffee. There I am, somewhat mature in age, and I would not have said 10 years ago coffee originated in Africa. So I believe this is a show that should help both young and old to better understand the enormous wealth and contribution Africa has made to the world. And I say that with absolute confidence. Africa has made to the world, the contribution that we have made to the world. And much of this information is suppressed or just below the line, and you have to go seek out the truth. I pause there because I want you to take that in. Yeah, thumbs up to you. Yeah, who are taking it in and understand the implication of what I've just said. Yeah, thumbs up to you. Thumbs up to you. Thumbs up because you're therefore on that journey of self-actualization. This is reparations in action right before you. So today I'm going to focus on that interesting seed called coffee. And its many forms. So let me bring in my guest who's able to speak on the subject and also discuss the commercial advantages that we can use on the subject of coffee. Now then, let me just bring my guest in. Let's see if this works without any problem. Let me get him in here. Oh, my guest. Oh, there you are. You got a hint, therefore, of what he's somewhere around, I'm sure. Okay, I'm sure he just popped away to do something else. Okay, let me wait for my guest to come in. Okay. What a good start. Oh, there he is. The man himself. There he is, the man himself. Emeka, can you hear us? Can you hear us? He can't hear. Oh, we can't hear you. You can't hear us. Oh, you can't hear us. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, let's make it sure. Yep, my volume is very high. My volume is very high. Oh, you're on now, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, speak up. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
You can. Oh, okay. Oh, there you are. I thought that was me again. There you go. Now then. First of all, welcome to the Motivator Show. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Your voice is a little quieter today. Why are you so quiet today? Why are you so quiet?
I had an event. I didn't get enough sleep last night, but I'll be fine.
Oh, right. Well,
maybe hang on. Let me just turn the music down. I think the music is probably interrupting.
Yeah, you were fine last night. It was a vibrant volume?
Yeah, it's on high.
You're on high, are you? Okay, all right.
Yeah,
We will
100%.
make the necessary adjustment at our end. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. That's fine. That's fine. So, first of all, Emeka, or should I call you the founder of Black Cowboy Coffee or simply Emeka? What would you prefer?
Well, I prefer, according to my children, I prefer to be called the OG of Black Cowboy Coffee.
Oh, wow.
I recently found out what OG means. They told me original gangster. I'm not a gangster, but it sounds so much cooler than the founder.
Ooh, ooh. Um,
Original gangster. That's what the youngsters say these days, OG. But
okay,
it's
all
okay.
right.
Founder, Emeka, whichever one you prefer.
Okay. Well, I'm going to call you Emeka. I'm not going to call you that other name, I think. I've got young people who are listening, okay? And, in Jamaica, it was introduced as far via the reggae music as a lifestyle. So we want to, anyway, let me move on. Let me move on. So, first of all, welcome. Welcome to you today, okay? Um, I know you because you are an entrepreneur. Okay, you are an entrepreneur. You are a businessman of distinction, and I've seen your business grow over the past 10 years or more. Okay, so before I begin the interview, Emeka, can I just ask you just to say a little bit about yourself, just so the audience can appreciate who you are? How did you start your business, Black Cowboy Coffee?
Um, okay, well, Black Cowboy Coffee is basically a combination of um, um, many life events and many attempts at entrepreneurship over the years. And my little jaunt in America, my 14 years of living in America, and um, basically facilitated my starting Black Cowboy Coffee because that's when I got involved in the history of Black Cowboys. Who I actually felt and saw live the history of the Black Cowboys. I mean, it's an entrepreneurial venture, but using the Black Cowboy name or mantra is basically an homage to the African American cowboys or African cowboys that were moved to America. So I mean, it's. I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always been a business person, a businessman, and this is just one of the things that I've done in life. Um, and happily, this one is kind of sticking, basically.
Hmm. Why cowboy?
Well, cowboys, like I said, I mean, this is actually about my life experience. It's about what things that I've always known all my life about the Black Cowboys, about the history of the Cowboys, not the generic Hollywood version that you guys, most people see. I kind of knew about the history of the Cowboys way before the internet even arrived.
Mhm.
And I lived in that world and that reality, during those times. And I kept telling people that these guys, they were called Black Cowboys around, these guys were doing most of the hard work on the trails. They did exist, and I read about them in school when I was in boarding school in Nigeria. So, but people weren't convinced because they needed somebody else, other voices to tell them that this is real or not real. And I needed to do it because I have a sense of affinity to that lifestyle.
Mhm.
Um, my grandfather had his own cattle.
Or
I used
before
to
we get
feed.
to your grandfather, I'm going to come in later on. What I want to do, so you give us a hint. So you chose coffee as opposed
Right,
to tea or wines or spirits to be your
right,
focus. Yeah. Okay.
right. Yeah.
So what's it about coffee then that for you was a business prospect? Particularly you might want to hint about African coffee, but why coffee in particular?
Well, if you want to do business, you have to look at something you're passionate about. I've always been passionate about coffee. Um, and also, once again, my time in America, as I was a trucker driving all over the United States with my own rig. So I had the opportunity to try different types of coffee and be in different coffee establishments. And I began to understand the value of coffee as a business venture. Even though it was late in life, but I knew that if I'm able to do it excellently, it will take hold. So coffee is there. It's called the black gold. It's as good as oil, which we have a lot in Africa, but they don't. Oil and coffee much effort should be put into harvesting those two business cultures. So coffee, yes, it's difficult to run, but it's a thing for life. Coffee will never ever go away. So for me, it's a smart business move to choose coffee, and I love coffee as well.
I understand you. Understand you. So I'm looking at you. You're very much in scene at the moment. So it's it's interesting. But now I want to go on to the next question, which of course that is it true that Ethiopians are the world's first coffee drinkers? Is that right?
Well, they are. I mean, I can't tell you exactly because, the history of it, because the actual word coffee, it's pronounced differently in Ethiopia. It was the Arabians and the Europeans that kind of warped it into COWF. There's a different name for it, but it's similar to coffee. So, yeah, as far as we know, and widely known in the coffee industry, Ethiopian coffees are the original coffee growers of the world. At the moment, Brazil is one of the biggest coffee exporter in the world. But Brazilian coffee beans actually came from Ethiopia. So, yeah, during the colonial period, all these missionaries and people of that sort used to go to different countries and take the coffee beans and replant in those countries as looking for as a way to as a business enterprise. So it's widely known in the coffee industry that Ethiopia is the original home for coffee.
There you go. There you go. And it's interesting. And part of my preparation for this show, I looked at the various coffee beans. So I understand the most popular one is Arabica beans. That's right.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Robusta,
Right.
and followed by Excelsior and Liberica, I think it's pronounced. But the Excelsior and Liberica are less distributed, but the Arabica and Robusta are the two main, I understand.
Yes. Can you hear that noise? I need to switch something off. Okay.
Oh,
I'm
please.
at work.
You're in your store. I know. You're in your store. Yes, people, he's actually in his coffee shop. And he hasn't quite, he's actually trading as we speak. Okay. So he has customers in his shop. There you are. And we're not only is that a excellent scene backdrop for us, it also sets the tone for what is possible for particularly African people to use the wealth of Africa as the basis to create even more wealth worldwide. Okay. Yes, not a problem. Not a problem. It's live. This is live.
I'm in my shop at the moment, as you can see. This
Oh
is my,
yes, don't worry. I'm just telling the audience. I'm just telling the audience that you're live. Now, it does appear that your mic this time is quieter than it was yesterday, and I can't do much about it on my end. But I think your mic yesterday it was perfect audio. But anyway, today it's slightly different, but it's okay. We'll survive. We'll survive. If you want to put your computer down, and we'll continue.
Yeah, sure.
Not a problem. Not a problem. So what I want to do then. So we talked about the various beans, Arabica and Robusta being the same. Okay, so tell me, why are these beans so popular? Have you any idea why they're so popular for coffee drinkers? Yeah.
Well, they're not all popular. It's the Arabica and Robusta that are much popular, and there's so many other subdivisions of coffee beans within those four varieties. Yes. So I would rather just talk about Arabica. This is what we know in the coffee industry: Arabica and Robusta. That's what is generally used in the coffee industry. The other ones, the lesser ones, are used sporadically in certain places, But the main two are Arabica and Robusta, and those are actually the more profitable ones and the more palatable ones, not the lesser two. So the Arabica beans got its name from its association with Saudi Arabia or Arabic Peninsula, but it's not actually from there. No. So that's just the biological name for it, and it's a word association. The Arabica beans is grown in mostly high elevation, and has to be close to the equator. So if you noticeably, all the Arabica beans, the best coffee growing countries are located close to the equator. Indonesia, Brazil, Ethiopia, a few others, Colombia, Honduras, they're all either a few miles away from above northern or southern hemisphere. And luckily, I mean, Nigeria is also within, which is where I'm from, is within that range as well. So Arabica beans are the more expensive beans to acquire. They have actually less caffeine than the Robusta beans. Robusta beans are grown on lower ground and it's easily accessible and they're cheaper to buy. But they have less acidity than Arabica beans. So they are actually quite, I mean, some people like them, but I don't think it's for me, I choose to use the high quality Arabica beans. So Robusta beans are widely used in coffee industries. That's the mainstay of other because it's cheaper to acquire.
I understand. I'm just thinking about the South American companies. I'm thinking about countries such as Kenya, Uganda, Jamaica. Are those countries primarily growing Arabica beans or the Robusta beans?
A lot of these countries grow Robusta beans, but Ethiopia, Brazil, Colombia, they are mostly known for Arabica beans. And also Nigeria has a higher elevation that also grows Arabica beans. But most farmers would rather grow in lower grounds, grow Robusta beans because it's easier to sell and it's widely used around the world,
Right. So why is beans, particularly I think of Blue Mountain coffee from Jamaica, why is it so expensive? I've never understood why that one's particularly expensive.
Well, I think, I mean, without undermining the prestige of Blue Mountain coffee, it's actually quite too expensive for businesses like me, but like mine.
Right.
For some other people, they tend to believe that it has a different taste tone. Okay, and it's I think it's because of the area where it comes from, where it probably can't be grown anywhere else, or it's that's why it's that expensive, and also it's controlled by the farmers or the companies that actually have in position of that brand. So I don't really understand why it's that expensive because I couldn't. It's difficult for me to acquire it for my shop, at the moment. But it is. That's what it is. I mean, I can't understand. I don't know why it's so expensive based on the taste alone.
And you mentioned Nigeria earlier on. I'm not aware of Nigerians being big coffee drinkers. But is there a particular quality of beans in Nigeria that you wish to develop over time?
Well, there are currently coffee growers in Nigeria. Okay, I mean, for me to have a coffee farm, it's a long process. It takes 10 years to even begin to germinate something that you can actually sell. I would rather what I'm proposing to do is to find a way to facilitate the farmers at the moment through help from the government and other sources, and start publicizing the Nigerian coffee stock. Nigerians are, yes, we're not known for growing coffee, for drinking coffee, but that's not the entire Nigeria. The Northerners do drink coffee, But but the coffee is grown in the mid belt and the southeastern area. But for some reason, it's not been part of our culture. Coffee is not a Nigeria coffee. It's not a culture in Nigeria, but it is beginning to be that way. It's going that direction.
Okay. That's interesting. I'd like to say not simply Nigeria, great Nigeria, a country with incredible economic potential. What we need to do is just resolve the internal strife so that there can be peace that leads to prosperity for all. And it'd be interesting to see how your business extends into Nigeria, and it'd be interested to have you back again in a few years' time once you develop those those plantations in Nigeria and exporting Nigerian coffee. Now that would be fantastic, huh?
Yeah, I missed some of the stuff you said because you froze.
Oh.
But but I think I get the gist of what you're saying. I mean, Nigeria has for a long time concentrated on the income. They've completely abandoned. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Oh,
Am I frozen or am I still there?
yes. Your message. Okay, you're back
You
now.
there?
Don't worry, you're back with us. The quality of your signal has gone down
Yeah,
for some reason.
I was freezing a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. So it's. I mean, I can't put a finger in exactly the reasons why Nigeria abandoned or some seemingly abandoned the coffee industry, the cash crop of coffee. We had other things. We had palm nuts, palm kernels, all those things in the past that we used to export to different parts of the world. Coffee was one of them. But for some reason, over the years, due to economic or political tumult, those things have been abandoned. The government did not facilitate the farmers in growing coffee beans enough to compete in the world market. But that doesn't mean it's a situation that should exist forever. People like me, there's a few other people that I've seen that grow coffee in Nigeria. People like me who eventually will have a high-profile coffee enterprise in this part of the world, in northern hemisphere. I'll be able to now export my beans and introduce the world to the beans that are grown in Nigeria. Every part of the world has its own type of soil that will actually have an impact on the taste of the beans.
Yes.
Okay, and I believe for the moment people appreciate Brazilian coffee, Colombian coffee, Ethiopian coffey, Kenyan coffee, Indonesia, which is mostly do a lot of Robusta beans and also some Arabica beans. But people have not been opened up to the taste versions of different parts of Africa. Okay, and you just need someone to give it a little push. Somebody who has a bit of self-belief and belief in our ability to get into that market and be able to be at least to be able to help the farmers, the small farmers in the different parts of the country. So I believe that at some point in the future I'll be able to do that.
Thank you. And again, you now lead me on to my next group of questions, which really kind of focuses on why is it therefore I've done the research. You appear to be unique. You're an African man with an enterprise in a sector to which Africans are the original growers of the produce, coffee.
Right.
Okay. But you're almost unique. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think it's I've tried so many other business ventures, also to do with my self-belief. I kind of have almost a cultural history or my lineage of having business people in the past. People who have each generation has somewhat elevated my lineage. And I felt that I'm the one that should do this. I just have such confidence in what I'm doing in myself to carry this through. So I can't really tell you exactly why I'm the person, why I am the way I am. But it could be my lineage, it could be my parents, it could be my grandfather, it could be a knowledge of my history and cultural history that possibly has helped me attain this level of confidence to be able to do be in such a high profile location in London, selling coffee beans, Okay. So I can't tell you, maybe some other people can describe it and say, look, this is the reason why he's like that. I've had some psychological analysis and I've been told I'm a certain kind of person. Well, so be it. But within me, I just know that I have to do this. This is what I have to do.
Absolutely.
And I have to promote my lineage and my ability and my, I can't disappoint my lineage, basically. That's part of it,
I understand you. It's interesting you say your lineage. I understand, looking at my notes here, that we should be calling you Prince. You have royal lineage, is that right?
Well, yeah. I guess so. Yeah, I mean, that's what I should be
Peaceful.
called. I should be called a prince. My son should be called a prince. But in this day, the African kingdoms that existed in the past, obviously when we were conquered by Europe, we kind of took a back seat. People started disregarding our own cultural history and having kings and queens and stuff like that. So in my lineage, I've about three generations back, my grandfather, my great grandfather, they were all kings, and
Okay.
I saw it live. I saw my own grandfather crowned live
Wow. And your
some time ago.
grandfather's name,
So,
please, if you don't mind?
huh?
Your grandfather's name?
My grandfather is Ezo one of Umeje in Ovungwe, Selangbo local government area. Ezo one.
Was it? Oh, and so that's
Ezekiel Otagburuagu.
you're both therefore Biafra land. Okay, got it, got it. Wow. And how long is your family line? How far back?
The actual area where I come from, where my father comes from, was started by my lineage. So yeah, that's in our culture. We don't actually intermarry within the village,
Uh-huh.
within the any area within uh, the close to where I come from. You can't intermarry because most people might be related to you. So you have to marry far off.
Right.
So yeah, that's how far my lineage.
I think you're in. It's the internet slightly uncertain now. Now then, a question in that case. In taking on board your lineage, is it that gives you that determination to succeed in business?
Well, yes, cultural and historical awareness and connectivity to my lineage, to my past. It just seems like I really have this sense that I am supposed to be doing something to elevate my lineage. It's something that is being passed down. It was
Hmm.
passed down to my father, who did
Yes.
the best that he could. He was a bank manager. He studied in Germany and all whatnot. He looked after so many people, and helped a lot of people in our village and surrounding. And I just felt that as a first son, I have to match up to what my father did. It's just something that is a weight that is put on my shoulder, and I feel I'm capable of taking the weight. I've done it for so long, so I just feel that I'm naturally meant to do this. I
Yes.
cannot. It's like a responsibility to my lineage. I have to do something, and luckily, I found a passion that I can be able to use to push that forward.
I like that. You said you feel as if you are meant to do this. Yes, it's in your genes. Yep.
Yes, I am meant to do it
Mm-hmm.
because if you think about it, my father, who didn't speak a word of German in the '60s, went to Germany and studied accountancy.
Yes.
Okay, and then came home and became a bank manager. One of the first bank managers in the southeast region of Nigeria, Cooperative Bank. So
Wow.
this
Yeah.
guy was a brilliant. And then I look back at my grandfather, who was a king for so long.
Hmm.
Okay, and then the previous person was also a king.
Hmm.
So it's a long line of people men that have separated themselves from the rest of the people and excelled in whatever they did.
Hmm.
Okay, and I actually feel quite small when I think of my past, my lineage. I don't
Hmm.
feel I've actually achieved half of what my father did.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
I do
So
understand. I do
yeah, it's not.
understand. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I feel very strongly about it, and it's something that I'm just focused on. I got to keep. I've tried so many things, other enterprises in the past,
Hmm.
but some of them didn't stick. So I just
Hmm.
kept trying. I kept trying. I kept trying. I
Yes.
realized you have to have 100% passion for what you do, for what you're doing, and coffee is my passion. Coffee is my passion, and there's no way I'm going to fail in this. I have to be really. Uh, 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 I have to be really dumb not to do it right. This is the
I
perfect
understand
moment
you.
for me.
I like that. I like that. So, if I may then, so just pursuing your determination to succeed in business, and most certainly in the coffee business, And of course, we've agreed, and it's clearly evident that coffee originated in Africa, with the essence being Ethiopia. Okay. Um, are you now seeking to develop sort of African market, African coffee beans, as the other competitors will promote the South American coffee beans as a way of distinguishing yourself from the crowd? Just give us some idea.
Right. Yeah, that is an ultimate goal. As you know, um, there's a lot of things that impacts the business. In this country right now, we've
Mhm.
gone through a downward trend in the economy. Okay, but it's always been my goal. The thing is, you have to pace yourself. You can't just do everything at the same time. My next big goal is actually to have my own coffee roastery. Once I have my own coffee roastery, okay, in here in Southeast London, then I begin to have more control about how where to import my beans.
Right.
Currently, I have a company that roasts my beans for me. I'll go there, select the beans, I do the blend, which countries I need,
Mhm.
and then they roast it for me. But that's I still have control, but I don't have the ultimate control about where to import stuff or which beans to because they may charge me more for certain areas that are not popular. So
Yes.
once I have my own coffee roastery, which is the next big thing for my enterprise, actually, I will be doing some crowdfunding very shortly to facilitate
Oh,
that.
good.
So, yeah, so that is the next big thing for me to have my own coffee roastery and have 100% control on the beans that come into the country.
Right.
Okay, then I'll
Perfect.
begin to diversify, go into certain parts of Africa. Because it's a fun business to do. It's just so much variety that you can
Yes. Yes. Yes.
blend and mix and somehow convince the world that it's a different taste tone. It's a different kind of it's a different feeling
Absolutely. Yes.
when you actually drink the coffee. So it's not something that when I think about it, I don't give it a short time frame in my head.
Mhm.
It's a long term goal. It might I might be I might be working with a walking stick by the time some of the stuff I envision will come to fruition. But it's a long term goal, and once you set it up, then the coming generations will benefit from it. I have 5 children,
Mhm.
4 girls, son,
Five.
who
Good for
are
you.
in being groomed and trained to
Mhm.
take up the mantra once I give
Well
up.
said.
You know,
Got it.
so
Yes.
yeah, I mean that is the ultimate goal. The same thing my father did, where
Mhm.
I used to go to his office and where he was a banker, he was a bank manager. I used to go to his and walk and just lie under the table and watch his
Mhm.
customers come in and discuss things. And I used to listen to him. Okay, so that same feeling, my son, my daughters come here. In fact, 2 of my children work for me. So I'm getting them involved in how to run the coffee business and how to,
Absolutely.
to understand what coffee means and its position in the world as a business
Yes.
entity. Um, that is my goal. It's not. I'm not doing it just for me, sitting here. It's for generations to come. The person that took
Yes.
that coffee bean, the missionary that took the coffee beans from Ethiopia to Brazil.
Mhm.
Nobody hears about him now. But Brazil is now the number one coffee producing country in the world
Mhm.
because of one or two people who went to Ethiopia, took it
That's
over
right.
there. Okay, so I
Perfect.
plan on doing the same thing. You know,
Yes.
and Nigeria is a great country. Nigeria is a great. We've gone through so much. One second. Once again.
So this is live, people. He's actually in his coffee store right now. He has customers in there, and they're coming back and forth. They're listening to this interview, and he's going live and direct, not only to Britain, but to the entire world. This
Yeah,
is
sorry
a
about that.
true
Yeah,
entrepreneur. Don't worry, you keep at it. You keep at it. We
yeah,
love it. We love it. Yes.
yeah. Nigeria is one of the most economic and culturally vibrant
Yes,
countries in the world. Okay,
absolutely. Yes.
I
Great
don't want to have
Nigeria.
regrets.
Yes.
Yes, I don't want to have. I mean, I'm glad I came. My parents sent me here at a certain time. Yes, it's part of my growth as a person, as a first son.
Yes.
Um, but at some point, I have to do something to elevate my country, my culture. Okay,
Good
and
for you.
not just elevate it to help a lot of because all the images you see are people suffering, lack of jobs and all whatnot.
Indeed.
You know,
Yeah.
if I can encourage Nigerian government somehow,
Mm-hmm.
convince them
Mm-hmm.
that coffee is an essential part of the of world economy. It's
Yes.
where countries who produce coffee beans can actually rely entirely on the production of coffee beans. Okay,
Yes. Yes.
Brazil is
Mm-hmm.
it's constantly it's never the its economy is always vibrant. It's
Yes.
mostly because of coffee.
Coffee.
Same
Yes.
thing with Colombia. Same thing with
Ethiopian
Indonesia.
coffee beans.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Indonesia only started. I mean, Indonesia was actually in my lifetime. They got involved in the coffee industry, but now they are number 3 in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
so it is achievable, but it just needs a certain kind of person to be able to do it. You know.
Okay. Okay. So if I may then just take it to your business and more particularly, so where are you based, first of all, and do you have a website?
Right. I'm based at 50 London Road, Southeast London, SE1 6FY,
Right.
and my
Mhm.
website is of course
You said that much too quickly.
yeah. Sorry, it's called Elephant Arcade. That's the place I'm. Elephant Arcade.
Mhm.
I'm
Yep.
right at the front of the building. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, uh, in between University of Arts London and the Underground, the tube station. So I'm
Let me
quite
just
central.
let me just clarify for the audience. Let me just clarify for the audience. So the coffee shop is based in Elephant and Castle. Elephant and
Elephant and
Castle.
Castle,
Okay.
yes.
And
Yes.
Elephant Castle has 3 stations. We've got the Bakerloo line, we've got the Northern line, and we've got the Overland line as well. And
Right.
it's a junction point for more than 35 bus routes as well. Okay, so it's
Right.
a really easy place to get to, and you're
It's
in
a hub.
Elephant Arcade, and this is a building opposite the railway, the tube line stations. Okay, and it's therefore it's a very prominent position, very prominent position. Now, you continue. Tell us a bit more about the location. Tell the audience a little bit more about the location.
Okay. Previously, I used to be in the shopping center, which is
Okay.
now been pulled down and it's being replaced by a magnificent building. So I moved across to the arcade. It's a combination of small shops and then a big cafe, which is where I'm located, right in front of you know the roundabout. So it's
Mhm,
quite easy to spot.
mhm, mhm, mhm. And I completely agree. Completely agree. And you have a website address, I understand.
Right. It's
Right? Okay.
www.blackcowboycoffee.co.uk.
So again, you said very quickly, but slower for the audience. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
www.blackcowboycoffee.co.uk.
There you are. blackcowboycoffee.co.uk.
Yeah.
www.blackcowboycoffee.co.uk.
Right.
And I believe you may also have a telephone number if the audience need to contact you just for directions. Yeah.
The phone number is actually on my Google page and also on the website.
Okay. And I'll give it out in a moment in that case. And that's okay. Now, in terms of if someone comes into your shop, which of the coffees would you at this point be recommending to someone who doesn't really drink coffee but wants to come along to your shop to give you support? What coffee would you be recommending to them? Mhm.
Well, I generally start them off. I have 5 grinders in the cafe. One decaf and 2 house blends and 2 single origins. So I got
Oh,
my first house blend is a medium dark roast. It's a combination of different estates from South America. Okay,
mhm.
and it's a medium dark roast. Then I have the second house blend, which has Ethiopian beans and a couple of other Honduras and Costa Rica blended together. Okay, those are
Excellent.
all Arabica beans. Um,
Right.
um, and then I have a single origin dark roast from Indonesia,
Mhm.
which is it's full-bodied dark roast. It's not as toxic as robusta beans, but it does pack some punch. Okay.
Right.
Then I also have the single origin Brazilian beans, bourbon beans, which we didn't discuss because that's a different type of beans as well.
Okay.
The bourbon beans have a totally different taste, and Brazil farms cultivates bourbon beans. So that's my single origin Brazilian.
Wow.
Also,
So the house blends, are you combining different beans in order to create a unique flavor? That's right.
Yes. Actually, with the assistance of my coffee roaster, I went to his location, and we chose the countries to blend, and we tried it and tasted it, and it suited my palate, and I was happy with it, and then we started selling it, basically.
Wow. Good for you. Good for you. Good for
I
you.
forgot to say, I also have organic Colombian and organic Ethiopian. Yeah, those are quite expensive to maintain for a small business because I have to pay organic license over £1,000 a year.
Yes.
Okay, so one has to be. Sometimes I don't feature it in my collection because it's quite an expensive endeavor for my business right now. But eventually, it will be, part of the business all the time.
Right.
And all coffee beans are ethically sourced.
Oh, I was going to get onto that. So first we'll just tackle the organic element of it. So
I have a little problem here because my staff is not here. I'm actually open. She's got 5 minutes, and I've got a customer. You mind if I go?
Okay,
I'm just gonna go over there see what happens.
There we go.
How you doing, man?
There we go. This is live, people. He's serving coffee. Yep, in Elephant and Castle here in London, and he's live and direct. Yep, there you are. You can see it happening there. Oh wow! Look at that.
Yes.
Look at that. There you go. And he's serving customers an ear on our interview on the Motivator show. And he blends coffee, to our palate, so that he can provide you with a blend that suits your palate, once he understands the type of coffee that you prefer. And that is what I call a true entrepreneur, able to do many things at once. There you go. And he's serving. There you are. This is live and direct. Let's see your customer. We can't see your customer. Okay, there you are. Okay, right. This is what we like to see. Yeah. And you can see he's created a perfect image around himself. There you are. He has his customers in store, and he's serving and interviewing. This is what we like to see. This is live and direct. Live and direct.
I'm currently on.
Not a problem. This is all good. I just love this. I just love this. This is love this. This is what I wanted for him to do the interview whilst he's in his store. And he's serving and talking to us at the same time, promoting reasons why we Africans should be in that coffee business, where the coffee beans come from Africa. This is absolutely an example of why we as a people must be involved in business, We have that entrepreneurial vibe, that entrepreneurial verb, We can and we will be successful. So what we've heard from Emeka is something of his heritage.
I'm going to make some coffee, okay?
It's something of his heritage. He's talked about his royal heritage. And he believes that in his soul that he says again, he must do this, And he's doing it not just for himself, he's doing it for his family. So his family can grow and will grow with him because he's set a path. And that's the incumbency of all fathers to create a path for their family, for their children, and indeed their children's children. This is what we want to see. We need more of this. We need more of this. So come down and meet the African Black Cowboy Coffee shop here in Elephant Castle, here in London, in Elephant Arcade, Come and meet him. Speak to him, get a sense of the man himself, He's got the drive, got the determination. He will open up new plantations in Nigeria, in other parts of Africa, to grow coffee, so he can control the production of coffee to the utilization of coffee here in London and beyond. I can see no reason why we shouldn't give support to this entrepreneur. It is a demonstration of what it takes, what it really does take to be successful. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play a part of the intro video I know some of you would have seen the intro video where I was able to give light to some aspects. Oh, look at that. There you are. That's his brand. There you are. You see the brand, you know? Put it back on the screen. Let's see another one of those cups. Put the brand on the screen in a moment. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to bring in the intro video, and that'll give you a flavour of why I'm doing this right now. Let me just quickly play this for you all. Let's bring it in, like bring it in. There we go. The Motivator Show. The internet's most inspirational podcast. Every Saturday morning from 8 to 10. Ethiopia, the origin of the coffee beans. The types of beans include Arabica beans, Robusta beans, Labrica beans, Excelsior beans, and the main routes to the rest of the world were via Kenya and Yemen. Jamaica's Blue Mountain Coffee. Jamaica's Blue Mountain Coffee is an Arabica variety of coffee bean called Typica that originated in southwestern Ethiopia. Blue Mountain Coffee is noted for its mild flavor and lack of bitterness. Ethiopian coffee beans are now grown worldwide. The countries include Brazil, Colombia, Guatemala, Honduras, Peru, Uganda, Indonesia, Mexico, India, Nigeria, Jamaica, and many more. The Ethiopian Arabica beans. The Arabica coffee plant is a small tree that is between 2 to 8 meters tall and has evergreen, usually shiny leaves. The flowers are white and sweetly scented, and the fruits are red, but sometimes yellow or purple. Each fruit produces 2 green seeds, which are commonly known as coffee beans. The Ethiopian Robusta beans. Robusta gets its name from its hardy nature. It is able to grow in lower altitude and diverse climates around the world, making it a more resilient and robust species of coffee. Robusta coffee plants are also relatively resistant to pests, insects, and harsh weather conditions. Ethiopian Labrica beans. Out of all the types of coffee plants, Labrica produces the biggest beans. The flavor profile is unique and is described as smoky, nutty, floral with a hint of dark chocolates, ripe berry and spice. It is flavored for its smooth aftertaste and lingering taste of rich, dark chocolates. The Ethiopian Excelsior beans. Excelsior has a distinctive tart, fruity, dark, mysterious taste. In blend, it enhances the middle and back palate and lingering finish of the coffee, giving the cup more substance and power. Brewed on its own, it is a compelling and unique coffee experience, like a good Scotch whiskey. Motivator Show. The African origin of coffee. Black Cowboy Coffee, Britain's first specialist African and Caribbean coffee, beans and beverage cafe. Based in Elephant Arcade, Unit 11A, 50 London Road, London, SE1 6FY. Black Cowboy Coffee, Britain's first specialist African and Caribbean coffee, bean and beverage cafe. Telephone number 07 496 304 484. Black Cowboy Coffee is an enterprise that takes pride in providing organic, fair trade coffee beans. We believe that sourcing the best coffee beans and providing the best service is a winning combination. There you are. How about that, huh? Oh, you're silent again. We could get you back on my. That's okay.
My colleague is in now, so I'll pay more attention here.
Not a problem. It was good to see you in action. You know, there's many likes coming up here, many likes. Okay, so I played a little video of your shop and how to contact yourself. Okay, so you're 150 London Road in Elephant Castle. And of course, the telephone number, if members of the audience wish to contact you, on 07 946 304 484. Is there an email address? I think it's info@blackcowboy.co.uk.
Black Cowboy Coffee.
Black Cowboy Coffee, that's right. blackcowboycoffee.co.uk. If members of the audience want to contact you, I recommend and commend this entrepreneur to you. Okay, now we've got only a little more time, but I just want to just conclude for you. Okay, so you're now creating a very clear picture of the commercial opportunities that Africa has bequeathed to its people. Okay, to which you are an example of the beneficiary. Okay. And you've said and described your business as very much a family business. You're not doing it for yourself, you're doing it for your children and indeed your children's children. Okay.
Right.
And I'm being ambitious now. Is coffee a potential unifier for many Africans to come around, drink coffee, so we can sit down and reason with each other? Is this a type of drink that you just sit down and consume, relax, and just talk, just rap? How do you see coffee as in its social setting?
Right. Okay. Yes. It could be that, but we have to now go through or eliminate the stigma of coffee not being a black thing, because I'm sure you probably heard, even in America and certain parts of Europe, it's seen as not something that we as Africans do.
Indeed.
Which is just mind-boggling. That's the way it is. So yes, it is a unifier because it unifies other cultures. You know, Italians are proud to be known as coffee drinkers.
They are.
French people are proud to be known as coffee drinkers. Americans consume a lot of coffee. They are proud of it. Canadians, despite their population size, they are coffee drinkers, and it's a widely known thing that these nations thrive on coffee. You know, so yeah, it's going to be a big struggle, an uphill task to convince Africans that this is a means of recreation, so to speak. It's something that, you know, even our genetic constitution is engineered for us to be able to drink coffee comfortably. You know, so I also believe that coffee has a lot to do with the economic performance of a country, of the individuals in the country, because it's an accelerant. It's a motivator. You drink a cup of coffee in the morning, and you're ready to go. You know.
Yes.
So yes, it is a unifier, but you need somebody to make that happen. It's
Yes.
just the coffee alone would make it happen. And there's a lot of people that sell coffee, but when you come into my cafe, you realize how international it is, how I've embraced the entire world in my
Yes.
even in my decorations and the beans that I sell.
Yes.
It's that lady you just saw that I just sold my first coffee to, and I didn't know she was African. She didn't know I was African. She asked me right there, "Where are you from?" I said, "I'm an Igbo man." She said, "Oh my God, really?"
Uh-huh.
I didn't know. I thought you were somebody else, somebody different part of the world. So
Yes.
you need somebody like me
Mhm.
to lead the way and say, "Look, it's not so bad. Coffee is excellent. Coffee is
Yes.
beautiful." And the fact that I sell different types of it, you have access to different taste notes. You know, so I'm not just selling one
Mhm.
coffee bean. I'm selling 5 different types in the shop. So yeah, it is a unifier. But
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Can I ask you before we leave that you had a cup with your brand on it? Can you show us that
yes.
cup again, please?
Oh, I have to take a little jaunt. I'll be right back. I'll show it to
Yeah,
you once again.
please, please. We want to see that cup. And you could see the branded, the ground blended coffee behind him there that he described earlier on, which can be blended to your taste. Yeah. So you prefer, I prefer slightly milder taste without bitterness, which is why I love Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee. Oh, there you are. There you are.
Okay.
You've got it up
I
now.
just want to get it.
No, we
Okay.
can't quite see it. In front of your face. There you are. No,
Okay.
there you are. Got it now. That's it. Wow. Perfect. Perfect. Just turn it around a bit. There you go. There's his logo. Wow. There you are. Black Cowboy Coffee. Oh, I like that. Thank you. Thank you. That's perfect. Oh, look at this. Oh, right.
So
Oh, I
this
love
is
that. Oh, I
this
see. So
image
you are
right here.
also on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, are you?
Yes, I'm everywhere.
You're everywhere.
All
Okay.
the social media sites. Yeah.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you very much for that, Mecca. Thank you, thank you. So you've seen the logo. He's on social media. He's on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. He has his own website. Yep. You're able to sell. Are you able to sell via your website? Can you
Yes,
buy
I am.
coffee via your website?
Yes, yes. You can't buy it. You can't yet. You're able to. Yes.
Brilliant, brilliant. So you're also in e-commerce as well, and that wonderful, well established store in Elephant Castle. I'm going to visit you later today, I hope.
Okay. That would be great, man. That would be great.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to visit you later on today. So we're coming to a close now. What will
Right.
be your closing message for listeners and our wider audience worldwide? What is your message to them? You're the entrepreneur, you're the man with the vision. Tell us, what is your message to them now?
Okay. Okay. This is purely from my own point of view and perspective. It might not work for everybody else, but I truly believe that a lot of the issues we have as some racial group,
Mhm,
Africans, Black
mhm,
Americans,
mhm.
the, you know, that racial group, a lot of problems we have are the fact that we don't have confidence
Indeed,
to carry through what we need to carry through.
indeed.
There has been so much uh, uh, um, damage to our self-esteem, not just through the whatever you call it, the enslavement or slave period, but
Mhm,
psychologically,
mhm,
we have not been empowered
mhm,
to play
mhm.
the role we played in the past.
Yeah,
For people who study history, will know the greatness of Africa as a whole.
indeed, indeed.
Uh, for example, in my area, we had several kingdoms that were leading the world in commerce and enterprise. Okay, built so many magnificent structures in the past, but in the space of 600 years to 1,000 years, we have somehow been stripped of that confidence to do those sort of things.
Yes.
Now I'm aware of it, and I know the role I play in chronology of time. Okay, if you really feel empowered, I'm
Mhm,
speaking to the black audience now. I mean, you could apply to everybody else. Is you know, but I'm speaking my truth. If you really feel empowered, if you really think you have value, very high value to who you are, to your position in the world, you cannot stop. You cannot. You have no. You shouldn't be stopped by anything. You should just be able to be single-minded about
Yes.
whatever business venture you want to get engaged. Because I think that is the only way you can solve a lot of these issues we have. Somebody once said to me, uh, "It's good to have. You can only be friends with an equal. Okay,
Yes.
you can only be friends with an equal. So if you are on the lowest ebb of society, and there's somebody else who feels that he's at the top, you can never two can never one is always going to be able to look one will always look down on you. But with enterprise and with commerce, with uh, 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 entrepreneurship, you can be able to attain that level of equity, equal. You can be equal to these people that have been in the position for so long. That is my message. My message is just don't give up.
Absolutely.
And you have to see yourself in a different way. Don't see yourself in the way the world sees you.
That's right.
I see myself the way my grandfather saw me,
There you
the way
go.
my father saw me,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Say it.
The way
Say it.
my
Say it.
village sees
Say
me,
it. Say it.
my
Yes.
my Igbo culture sees me. Okay,
Mhm.
and it's unshakable.
Mhm.
To the day I depart from this world, I know my position. I know who I am. I know my history, and that has helped me to move along in everything that I've done. Even when I went to the States for 14 years, I was an entrepreneur in the States. You know, I was an entrepreneur in the States. I had my own rig, my trucking rig, and I delivered goods around America for 9 years.
Mhm.
Okay, a lot of people said, "Oh, they're going to kill you. They're going to kill you." Kill me for what? I'm a man in business,
Mhm.
taking care of his family. You know,
Mhm. Mhm.
if you're gonna kill me, what do you think I can do to you? So
That's
it's
right.
about self-conviction. It's about strength. It's about inner strength.
That's right.
And I have that. I have that in bucket loads. It's not about what you look like. It's not about what clothes you wear. It's what you have inside. Okay. If you don't have it, it's okay. It's okay. We can all be. You can all do it. Go do something else.
That's
But if
right.
you're gonna get engaged in business and be able to sit on the table with everybody else, you have to be equally as strong. It's a man or man or woman or kind of deal. You have to
Mhm.
be able to stand firm and stand in front of somebody and say, "Look, I'm convinced I'm going to do this, and this is how I'm going to do it, and you can't stop me. If you try to
Absolutely.
stop me, I'll find a different way to get it done." You know. So that is my message. Just never
Hey.
give up. You know.
Hey.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got to put the other one on. There you
Okay.
are.
Appreciation clap.
Hey, hey, hey. Thank you. Emeka, thank you. We're going to be watching your business grow. But I'll be
Okay.
coming down there for my coffee later this afternoon. So please have it warm ready for me, please. Yeah?
You can see
Yeah.
how tired I am when you come in. I didn't get much sleep last night.
Don't worry. We just work through our tiredness. Don't you worry. We work through our tiredness. And I commend this business to the audience. Thank you, Emeka. And we look forward to speaking to you again once you continue your expansion of this business. Your vision is clear, and we are there to support you.
It's a
Thank you
mission.
for being an outstanding guest today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Wow. Is that something, people? Wasn't that something if we just take us off? Was that something? Is that an example of what is possible, huh? Isn't that an example of what is possible? And what is a clear reminder is that, well, let me get this up on my screen. And what is that is a clear reminder, and that is that nothing can get in our way. You have to be single minded, totally focused, and very clear what it is you want to achieve. Okay. And once you're clear what you want to achieve, then nothing can get in your way. Be clear and determined. Do not give up. Giving up, well, is not the way forward because you will always live a life of regret. To avoid that life of regret, you must remain single minded. You've got to be single minded. Okay. So, what I want to do now as part of my closure is really just give a few highlights, which I would traditionally give out to you, and I will give a few highlights now, which are of a number of events which are continuing between this and my next show, Next Strong. Okay, and I just want to just remind you of a few important announcements, and a few of them I can get up on my screen. Now, Emeka said he is from Biafra, is an Igbo man. Okay, so what I want to do now, just bring on the screen. If I can bring up on the screen, I want to encourage you. If you want to achieve peace and prosperity for all Nigerians, and you are Igbo, or indeed you're not Igbo, it doesn't matter. Why not contact NINAS, the Secretariats, who seek to reform the Nigerian constitution so it can better represent the interests of all Nigerians. I commend the NINAS organization to you. If you wish to find they're on the website, it's NINAS Movement News. .subtract.com, or indeed the website address is ninasvoice.org, or email info@ninasvoice.org, or telephone number Nigeria plus 234 912 1551. Okay, there you are. Nina's Voice, an important organization, I believe, that will make a positive contribution to the future of Nigeria. I also want to give light to another organization, an organization I believe plays an important part on the development of our communities, and that is, of course, the National Association of Black Supplementary Schools or Black Academic Institutions. Okay, that NABS. I commend you. If you are if you're a parent or not a parent, but want to help and support the next generation, both in their academic, cultural, and social development, please contact the National Association of Black Supplementary Schools. They are an outstanding organization. They have a record of a local organization that you can join to help our next generation. So the National Association of Black Supplementary Schools, their website address is www.nabss.org.uk, or you can email them at info@nabss.org.uk, or contact them on their telephone number to speak to the inspired Brother Near on 07956 348 558. I commend the National Association of Black Supplementary Schools to you as helping and preparing the next generation to be upstanding men and women, husband and wives. Okay, I commend them to you. And lastly, I also want to note, and this has been a show that is focused on a particular business and a particular sector, but I also want to give light to the work of Dr. Carlton Brown, and I will bring it up in a second when I can find the right, there we go, the masterclass, here we go. Let's bring up on the screen. What I want to do is give light to a series of masterclasses which are ongoing as we speak. And in fact, 3 of the masterclasses have occurred, hosted by Dr. Carlton Brown, the host of the Entrepreneurs Conference Masterclass for 2024, and the Entrepreneurs Conference, which will be occurring in July. You can still obtain tickets via Eventbrite at the mere cost of £49. And what you'll be exposed to are captains of industry, how to develop your business. The last of the masterclasses will be here in London on May the 3rd. I commend this event to you, £49, an incredibly low price for the quality and the exposure that you receive. It is backed by big business supporting the African or Black community here in Britain. I commend the Entrepreneurs Conference Masterclass 2024 to you. The last masterclass will be on the 3rd of May here in London. Obtain your ticket via Eventbrite. I commend that organization to you and the work of Dr. Carlton Brown. Now then, just want to correct my screen. It will correct itself in a moment. But I also want to make sure that these messages receive you well. I realize it is challenging because for many people, it's taking you out of your comfort zone. Okay. Now, and I realize that. I get it, I get it, I get it. Okay. But unless we are challenged, unless we are encouraged to leave those comfort zones, what tends to happen is that become too comfortable with too little. And we don't have to accept too little. We can demand more and we can gain more. And as the African Cooperative Union would have testified here, you remember Todd, that wonderful young man? What he would testify, if we work together in collaboration, okay, with mutual aim, mutual ambitions, okay, together we can create peace and indeed prosperity for all. But it requires a mindset. It's a reparations mindset, if you like. It's a mindset that seeks to repair the damage of the past, that recognizes that if we're to overcome the past, we must hold, each of us, hold hands, hold each other's hands, and feel the strength in those hands, in our bodies. And together, we can effect the changes that we seek. Yeah, nothing is impossible. It's another applause. Another applause. More applause. More applause. I want you to applaud yourself. I want you to applaud yourself. Yeah, applaud yourselves. Applaud yourself. Because it's recognition that you can make the difference. Yeah, recognition that you can make the difference. And my last comment, because it's one of those days, huh? One of those days is this. If in doubt, ask for help. Okay? Let me say again. If in doubt, ask for help. Do not suffer in silence. I encounter far too many members of the community who suffer in silence for no good reason. But they suffer in silence. And there is no good reason to do so. So I urge you, if you're unsure about the future, simply speak to somebody, whoever you trust, whoever you respect, speak to that person. But if you want to speak to others and talk about your ambitions, find organizations that you believe have like minds and similar ambitions. I would commend to you the Global African Congress as one such organization, a prior guest on this show. I would commend them to you. Okay? Because what they represent are Africans, regardless of religious background, regardless of social standing or ethnic background or tribal allegiances, and come together in common aim and common purpose. I want to commend the Global African Congress to you, okay, as an organization worth aligning yourself with and provide the opportunity for genuine growth, okay, for genuine growth. But if in doubt, ask questions. That's what I say to people. If in doubt, ask questions. Because by asking questions, you have the opportunity to receive a response. If you don't ask questions, you won't have a response. Kind of logical, huh? Kind of logical. But it's these simple statements that often prove to be the most profound. Okay? Prove to be the most profound. And one other announcement I should make before I leave, and again, going on the basis of the previous guests that we've had here, and those of you who've been affected by the Windrush scandal, what I want to do with you is give you details of the previous show and the legal contributors to the show. Okay. What I understand, of course, you recall the gentleman in Trinidad who was seeking a judicial review of him being excluded. He needed to raise £10,000. Through this show and other outlets, he was successfully able to raise that money. the judicial review is going forward. But if you are affected by Windrush, I have on screen the contact details of the legal advisors who were on the show a few weeks ago. The Windrush Legal Advice Clinic at 58 Bank Street, West Midlands. That's postcode WV14 8PD. Or you can email them at info@windrushlegaladviceclinic.com. As it sounds, windrushlegaladviceclinic.com. Or you can phone them on 01902 382 542. I'll give that number again. If you're affected by the Windrush scandal, please make contact and seek out the support that you aptly deserve. Telephone number 01902 382 542. I commend the Windrush Legal Advice Clinic to yourselves. I commend them to you. And lastly, remember, these shows are designed to stimulate action. This is why they're called the Motivator show, yeah? They're intended to stimulate action. But that action shouldn't be you moving from one seat to another, okay? What it means is proactive action, just getting up and just taking the initiative. Getting up and taking the initiative. Speak to others about what you want to achieve, and you may find others who will join with you. And together you can achieve. There's no reason why you should do all of this by yourselves. Okay? There's no reason for you to do all this by yourselves. Okay? You can make the difference. Okay? And I'll just say this in closing. Bearing in mind that these shows are once every weekend, okay, at the moment, okay. I would hope to increase the frequency soon, because there are a number of additional strands of work that I believe we can share with you over time, okay. I believe we can. But I would just say this, that we, working together, can do awesome things, yeah? You've seen what is possible around you. You are your own change makers, yeah? You are the change makers, yeah? You are the change makers. And if in doubt, seek out advice, if in doubt. So I say unto you, until the next strong, I am the motivator. And if in doubt, just speak and talk to others. If in doubt, just speak to others. Do not be afraid. I say again, do not be afraid. Until the next strong, I remain the motivator. Praise be. Praise Jah, Rastafari.
The Motivator Show. The internet's most inspirational podcast. Every Saturday morning from 8 to 10. Ethiopia, the origin of the coffee beans. The types of beans include Arabica beans, Robusta beans, Labrica beans, Excelsior beans, and the main routes to the rest of the world were via Kenya and Yemen. Jamaica's Blue Mountain Coffee. Jamaica's Blue Mountain Coffee is an Arabica variety of coffee bean called Typica that originated in southwestern Ethiopia. Blue Mountain Coffee is noted for its mild flavor and lack of bitterness.
Ethiopian coffee beans are now grown worldwide. The countries include Brazil, Colombia, Guatemala, Honduras, Peru, Uganda, Indonesia, Mexico, India, Nigeria, Jamaica, and many more. The Ethiopian Arabica beans. The Arabica coffee plant is a small tree that is between 2 to 8 meters tall and has evergreen, usually shiny leaves. The flowers are white and sweetly scented, and the fruits are red, but sometimes yellow or purple. Each fruit produces 2 green seeds, which are commonly known as coffee beans. The Ethiopian Robusta beans. Robusta gets its name from its hardy nature. It is able to grow in lower altitude and diverse climates around the world, making it a more resilient and robust species of coffee. Robusta coffee plants are also relatively resistant to pests, insects, and harsh weather conditions. Ethiopian Liberica beans. Out of all the types of coffee plants, Liberica produces the biggest beans. The flavor profile is unique and is described as smoky, nutty, floral with a hint of dark chocolates, ripe berry and spice. It is flavored for its smooth aftertaste and lingering taste of rich, dark chocolates. The Ethiopian Excelsior beans. Excelsior has a distinctive tart, fruity, dark, mysterious taste. In blend, it enhances the middle and back palate and lingering finish of the coffee, giving the cup more substance and power. Brewed on its own, it is a compelling and unique coffee experience, like a good Scotch whiskey. Black Cowboy Coffee on the Motivator Show. The African origin of coffee. Black Cowboy Coffee, Britain's first specialist African and Caribbean coffee, beans and beverage cafe. Based in Elephant Arcade, Unit 11A, 50 London Road, London, SE1 6FY. Black Cowboy Coffee, Britain's first specialist African and Caribbean coffee, beans and beverage cafe. Telephone number 07 496 304 484. Black Cowboy Coffee is an enterprise that takes pride in providing organic, fair trade coffee beans. We believe that sourcing the best coffee beans and providing the best service is a winning combination. The Motivator Show. Success is ours for the taking. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's free. press the like button and don't forget to leave a comment. Follow us on Facebook. Give us the thumbs up and share with your family and friends. We are also on Instagram and TikTok. Follow us there too. You can listen to us on galaxy@fui.net and also Mixcloud too. The Motivator Show. The internet's most inspirational podcast. Every Saturday morning from 8 to 10. Ethiopia, the origin of the coffee beans. The types of beans include Arabica beans, Robusta beans, Labrica beans, Excelsior beans, and the main routes to the rest of the world were via Kenya and Yemen. Jamaica's Blue Mountain Coffee. Jamaica's Blue Mountain Coffee is an Arabica variety of coffee bean called Typica that originated in southwestern Ethiopia. Blue Mountain Coffee is noted for its mild flavor and lack of bitterness. Ethiopian coffee beans are now grown worldwide. The countries include Brazil, Colombia, Guatemala, Honduras, Peru, Uganda, Indonesia, Mexico, India, Nigeria, Jamaica, and many more. The Ethiopian Arabica beans. The Arabica coffee plant is a small tree that is between 2 to 8 meters tall and has evergreen, usually shiny leaves. The flowers are white and sweetly scented, and the fruits are red, but sometimes yellow or purple. Each fruit produces 2 green seeds, which are commonly known as coffee beans. The Ethiopian Robusta beans. Robusta gets its name from its hardy nature. It is able to grow in lower altitude and diverse climates around the world, making it a more resilient and robust species of coffee. Robusta coffee plants are also relatively resistant to pests, insects, and harsh weather conditions. Ethiopian Liberica beans. Out of all the types of coffee plants, Liberica produces the biggest beans. The flavor profile is unique and is described as smoky, nutty, floral with a hint of dark chocolates, ripe berry and spice. It is flavoured for its smooth aftertaste and lingering taste of rich, dark chocolates. The Ethiopian Excelsior beans. Excelsior has a distinctive tart, fruity, dark, mysterious taste. In blend, it enhances the middle and back palate and lingering finish of the coffee, giving the cup more substance and power. Brewed on its own, it is a compelling and unique coffee experience, like a good Scotch whisky. Black Cowboy Coffee on the Motivator Show. The African origin of coffee. Black Cowboy Coffee, Britain's first specialist African and Caribbean coffee, beans and beverage cafe. Based in Elephant Arcade, Unit 11A, 50 London Road, London, SE1 6FY. Black Cowboy Coffee, Britain's first specialist African and Caribbean coffee, beans and beverage cafe. Telephone number 07 496 304 484. Black Cowboy Coffee is an enterprise that takes pride in providing organic, fair trade coffee beans. We believe that sourcing the best coffee beans and providing the best service is a winning combination. The Motivator Show. Success is ours for the taking.